All right. So we are live. So Holly Brink with eXp Realty, and I've got John Ruckman here with me from Maryland to
Also
tell us,
from EXP too.
yes, an eXp agent, mentor, um, and a foreclosure specialist. So he's going to tell us all about BPOs, how to get started, what to expect, and that sort of stuff. So let's take it away.
Okay, so if you haven't, Holly hasn't already given it to you, there is a 90-day action plan that you guys can use. It's free of charge. I've posted it in the work chat, cooler chat area, and I've also given it to Holly here, so make sure you grab that. A little bit about myself. I am a full-time professional working class actor. That wasn't a joke. So I've been on TV and all that, but to offset that, because you don't always make money, I became a realtor. My wife had gone through the class a couple of years before I got my license, and one of the first things I stumbled across was BPOs. And how that happened is everybody has a mentor and a coach. I had a guy who was listing hundreds of REO properties. I'm like, well, how did you do that? Especially since the banks are so closed-minded when it comes to getting a hold of them. They don't really want to talk to anybody. And he just simply said, hey, start doing BPOs. And then, of course, I talked to other people in my agency at that time, which was Prudential Carruthers. That's where I got started. No harm to them. But most of those folks were like, BPOs, I don't ever want to do those. They don't pay any money. Well, I can tell you that I'm getting ready to go take two right now. My best day, I did 25 in one day at like
Wow.
$60 a pop. So, I took 7 hours to do all the pictures. Relatively simple, 6 pictures per house, front, both sides, the address, up and down the street, and very easy money. Luckily for us here at EXP and a lot of the other brokers, it's a fee, so they don't they don't split that with you. They have been very graciously allowing me to have the money. I make about $70,000 a year doing BPOs. Now, the good news about that is that every so often, well, it happened about 3 years ago, 5 years ago. I'm old man, so I forget different things. But 5 years ago, I had an asset manager from Green River contact me, and she says, I see you're on like every BPO in Maryland. I said, yeah, that's the case. She says, I have a favor. I said, what's that? She says, well, I need a BPO on this house in Havre de Grace, like right away. Can you do that for me? I said, sure, no problem. I can do that. She says, well, what's your fee? I says, oh, there's no fee. I'll just go ahead and take care of that. I'm in the area anyway. She says, well, I tell you what, I'll give you the very next assignment I have. Well, that's like 5 years ago, and I get 10 to 15 assignments a year. So with what's going on right now during the quarantine,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I know, because I'm so involved in the marketing, evaluations, the market, that model. And cut me off if I'm answering like every question you have here.
You're doing great.
But I know that the next market coming up is going to be inundated with short sales and foreclosures.
Right.
And the best way to get in front of that is when you do BPOs, okay? This is an insider. Don't tell everybody I said this, okay?
Right.
And I'll deny it if anybody ever says it.
Okay, it's our secret.
When they do BPOs, it's usually because the people have defaulted on their payments. Now, this is not always the case, but they default, they're a payment behind. So who better to contact? And I'm not saying you should do this, and you shouldn't go to the bank and say, I'm a BPO agent, and contact people. But if they happen to get one of your postcards that simply says a short sale postcard or a short sale letter, who am I to say that's wrong? But I know I've picked up several. I know I've picked up several, lots of listings like that. So I know the people that are in default. If that's like me being an ambulance chaser, well, so that's how I did it. That's how I built my business, was off of BPOs. And to this day, it's easy money. I can't. There's a couple of other secrets and tricks, but I can't tell you those, because then I'd be giving you all my stuff.
All right, fair enough. So can you explain the difference kind of from what you talked about, which is more of a drive-by BPO? Is that more common than those? Because I was, I've accepted some before that were like, here's my 20-page document I want you to fill out with, and then you like have to fill out their form with all that stuff. Do you see that too, or am I crazy?
So BPO companies, there's like 25 of them. There's what's called a BPO mill. They do nothing but BPOs, but then you have the ones who you're doing a BPO for the bank. They'll request either a drive pass, which is called an exterior. They'll also ask for interiors, which you actually go and you go into the house and take pictures. Each BPO company is different. Most of them, they have their own platform. So you fill out their platform. There's a secret to that too. I'll tell you. So who's to say that you and your group don't do the BPOs? When you start doing a monstrous amount of BPOs, you'll have people that will contact you. I'm telling secrets here. I should be telling secrets. Don't tell anybody I said this.
Right.
But you'll have people, you're not allowed to use autoresponders, okay? You're not allowed, you're supposed to physically go in and look at the property, take the pictures. And I know that in my group, we've hired photographers before to take the pictures. My son has taken pictures before, part of my group. And I know that the people will reach out to you and they'll actually, you pull all the comps and everything like that. And they'll say, hey, I'll do the BPO for you for like $3. So that takes care of the 20-page document. Am I telling things? You might want to delete that last piece. But each BPO company is different. They use their own platform. Unless you know of one that does the 20 pages, it's usually their platform. The hardest one I know is Solidify. They want you to do a scope, which is signing, saying that you've actually done the BPO. And that's, you can use Adobe Reader to make the signature and then type in your license number and the date, and then just re-upload that back into their system. But I don't really run into a lot of difficult ones to do, unless it's like directly for like Wells Fargo or something like that. I haven't.
Okay. So in your 90-day action plan, what do you have in there?
So the 90-day action plan is devised, is a day-by-day. It's included the big 5 BPO companies, okay, which it was CoreLogic. They've switched to BPO Fulfillment. CoreLogic, let me back it up. CoreLogic switched to Zoom. That's it, Zoom. BPO Fulfillment absorbed a lot of them. So big 5 were like Clear Capital. So it gives you the link address for those people, big 5. Now, if you actually put your email in, I have a secondary email that actually gives you all the other ones that I also am registered with. So this will give you the 5 to register with, the paperwork that they're going to need. You should do something every day for this. And then within 90 days, you should start getting the assignments. This is exactly the same plan that I followed to the T. And then it also goes into some stuff about, getting into the REO assignments, who you want to register with. And the best part about it is it's free. You don't have to spend any money on Equator. You don't have to spend money on ResNet. You don't have to spend money on Pyramid to get the assignments. You just simply have to have all your stuff and update it. Your E&O insurance, your broker's license. Sometimes they want you to sign an affidavit. And a master. When you get a master listing agreement, that's when you're going to start cooking. So.
Okay. And so I know I took a class once and then I decided it wasn't for me, but they had talked about having to have like a letter, like a resume. Has that been your experience too?
Not all. The ones I'm giving you don't require all that stuff. Okay. Simply, they just require your up-to-date E&O, your current license, a W-9, and sometimes it's your broker's license. Okay, it's only like 4 things that they really need. You don't need a resume. They'll ask you when you're filling out the platform how long you've been an agent and stuff like that. I've never had anybody check. A couple of places do what's called a Sterling background check, which basically you just fill it out, and they if you don't have nothing to worry about, then most agents, I don't think you can become an agent if you have anything in your background anyway. But they do a background check real quick. I think Clear Capital is one of the ones that does that. And the fun part about, after a while, the BPO companies will start reaching out to you. They'll start seeing your name on everything. They'll start reaching out to you. I've listed properties because of this. I've gotten bank assignments because of this. I've had other BPO companies contact me, and I get to train you lovely folks for this too.
Yeah.
And as a mentor here at the company, I have 15 people on my downline, and it's exactly what I tell all of them to do.
Mm-hmm.
The model, I used to be with Keller Williams. I don't know how many people here are going to be with Keller Williams, but their model was, when you first got started out, go and take a look at 5 different houses a day. Get yourself updated on the market, what the market's doing. Well, what better way of doing that? You get paid to go in and take the BPOs.
Mm-hmm.
If you decide you want to knock around that neighborhood, a couple of houses up and a couple of houses down, and just introduce yourself to the neighborhood.
Right.
I mean, this is always ways of getting out there. Hang some door flyers. I don't know. I do all that stuff.
Right.
So,
right. Okay. What would you say the going rate is for BPOs right now then?
that it's anywhere from $45 to $600.
Okay. Tell me about a $600 one. Is that like commercial or what?
No. So our review, which is one of the ones that's on the list. Okay. I live in a state. We have this big thing in the middle of the state called the Chesapeake Bay. Okay. As a crow flies, I may only be 15, 20 miles away from a house. However, it's on the other side of the bay. So now it's a 100-mile, 150-mile trek. I know that I'm the only agent that will go over to the Eastern Shore to do BPOs. So when they contact me, I could care less if I get it or not. But the one time they had just got me on one, okay, that was out there for like $150. And I said, okay, I know you're going to send me back out to this one again. I'm going to get you. What happens is I went out there and it was an interior. I thought it was an exterior. So I had to get in touch with the people to get in the house, and they canceled the order before I could get that done. So they sent me out there. I'm telling you, it wasn't a week later. They sent me back the order again, and I says, okay, it's $600. And they were like, they come back and said, yeah, we need it tomorrow. I was like, no problem. $600. Rode, took a trip. I mean, it's the nicest trip you can take. And then what's even better is that I knew that was $600. Okay. And I had 2 more that I had submitted quotes out while I was in the area for 150 each. So as I'm out there, it was $900 for one day of going out and just taking exterior pictures and then doing the BPOs.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you mentioned ResNet, Pyramid, and Equator. So are those all platforms that do charge agents fees? And can you tell us more about that?
So ResNet is a pay to be on their platform. I mean, they have a free register. Let me back that up. ResNet is free to register. Okay. Equator is free to register. Pyramid is free. Okay. They have what's called Premier Agent upgrades on those websites. I've spoken to all my asset managers that I have. Okay. And I said, hey, what's up with this? What's up? And all of them said the same thing. We don't decide anything based on those Premier stuff. That's all
ways for them to make money.
Upsell for the agents that come in there for the hopes that they get the REO properties. But it's just being in the area and being available.
Okay.
So.
And then I remember one time I was doing research, and it was like when you get some of these listings, do they want you to put the utilities in your name and pay for stuff? So an agent does have to be prepared for that, but then you get reimbursed at closing, or how does that work?
Okay. So if the REO, so the thing about REOs is that there are biweekly inspections. You have to go, and this works because you'll get a squatter in there. And if you get a squatter in there, you can't get them out. They got to be evicted. Okay. But you do biweekly inspections. The best way I know is, again, when you go and do the initial inspection of the house, introduce yourself to a couple of the houses around the house and say, listen, this is my business card. I need your help. If you see anybody in there other than myself, or lights on in the middle of the night, or just any activity at all, call me right away. This worked for me, and I got a story about this too. This worked for me. I get a phone call late Friday night, okay, and the guy calls me and says, I think there's somebody in your house. Go down there. Sure enough, somebody's in the house. They go, oh yeah, we just listed it from we just leased it from so and so. I'm like, nobody's got this but me. Nobody could lease it. They showed me a lease, but it wasn't signed. I called the police. Police show up. Okay, I said, they're not supposed to be here. Now this is like negative 30 degrees outside. I just got to hold on for a second.
Yeah.
me see. Hold on for just a second. Yeah, we got to take that one.
You can put me on hold. That's fine.
That's okay. I just accepted a BPO while I was sitting here.
Nice. Perfect timing.
Right in my neighborhood.
Awesome.
So I had to take that. Okay. Where are we at? We're right here now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Sorry about that. So I just accepted a BPO. It was like right down the street from my house. All right. So went out, police came out and they said, well, we got no place to put these folks. I said, this is not assuming they're leasing the place. They need to be out tomorrow morning. And so they were out. But yeah, you gotta do biweekly inspections. The utilities, unfortunately, unless it's a lot of money, like construction costs, like they're going to take and put a contractor in there and paint and all that stuff, you can go to the bank and say, look, I don't have that kind of cash to put out. So they will pay that directly if it's really high expense. Mm-hmm. But utility bills, you get your utility company to put the house in your name, you pay it, then you turn around and you go and you get reimbursed for it like right away. So as soon as you pay it, you put it in the expense folder and they reimburse you.
Okay.
Usually I have grass cutting services. I have contractors. Something needs to be done. Rekeying's like $200. Go out and change the doorknob on a house. It's $200. let me do this again. It's $200 to rekey a doorknob. So there's money to be made like that too. So as long as you have an LLC, or you can put that through your LLC. Grass cutting service. I had my kid going out and cutting the grass. He made a couple bucks,
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
There's always, so it does make sense to hire everybody. These expenses come out of my pocket. I get reimbursed from the bank, but unfortunately you do have to have a couple of bucks to do that.
Okay. So would you recommend that people take some of the short sale foreclosure classes and certifications, or do you think your 90-day action plan, or do you offer some kind of training? Like what need to do?
Because I get asked the questions all the time, I actually have a platform. It's called www.mission2mindset.com. Okay. This is a platform. It offers a lot of free stuff that I use for all this. Okay, it offers the free 90-day action plan. I'm still working on a lot of parts of that because it eventually will be a coaching program within that. But right now, it's just me offering everything that I offer my mentees.
Mm-hmm. So that's great. Well, we appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
So do you think that if an agent's really serious about this, they should take the certification classes, or should they wait? Does it give them an edge or just more knowledge?
I would definitely,
or wait till they get a few.
Yeah, with foreclosures and short sales, it's like I've never I'm trying to think here. I've never taken another class on short sales and foreclosures. Usually there's enough people who are an expert. There's always third party. Okay. I took CDPE. Okay. That's the Certified Distressed Property.
Okay.
I recommend that. Okay. But I always like to put more than arm's length between myself and the sellers. Okay, so that way nothing can ever come back on me like I didn't do my job. I work with a third-party negotiator who deals directly with the banks. Okay, and then it's me as a listing agent, third-party negotiator, and then the bank. So no one ever could say that I had any kind of influence on the bank.
Right.
That the third-party negotiator gets paid by the bank. She's an expert in the latest and greatest of everything. But I used to handle short sales. I handled short sales back when the banks didn't even know what a short sale was. You'd call and you have to call 50 different numbers to get to the one person. And that was each and every time. Now it is so streamlined that you get a hold harmless, making sure that you don't get sued. I know how to do the short sales. CDPE taught me how to do that. And then just doing repetition, I've known, instead of 100 pages, it's now 240 pages with all the hardship letter and the bank statements and the taxes and all that stuff. So,
wow.
I know with a lot of newer agents, this all sounds like blah 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 blah. It really is.
Wah, wah, wah.
It really does. It really does. So, but anytime you can take a class, EXP has a lot of great online classes. A lot of the icon agents are teaching different things. Anytime you can take a class to make you better at being able to speak intelligently about something, that's always a plus. It's always a plus. Not to mention, I can't tell you. I've taken many a seminar. What I mean by seminar, I mean I've lost so much money over my lifetime as being a realtor because of stuff I don't know. So you want to protect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
It's worth the investment of your time and
it
money
really is.
sometimes. So.
It really is. It
Yeah.
really is.
Awesome. Well, any parting notes or thoughts or anything we didn't cover?
Okay. So the story I was going to tell you. So I had listed a house with the bank, put my sign on the front of the property, brand new EXP sign. There was a real estate agent that lived directly across the street. And she goes, "What is that?" And she kept seeing me come in doing the biweekly inspections. Finally, she says, "What is that EXP?" She was number 7 on my downline.
Nice.
So she was originally with Keller Williams. I was originally with Keller Williams. So we had that involved, but it opened a conversation. I like those conversations. And she's doing very well, by the way.
Good.
So,
that's always good.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, hey, I really appreciate your time. And, you know, so if anyone has questions or wants to reach out, they can go to the mission2mindset.com or message you on Workplace.
That's fine.
Other. Okay. Sounds good.
Yep. All right. Well, I wish everybody the best of luck. Good luck. Have fun. This is fun. You're out there in the community, you know? So.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you.
All right.